GamingBolt presents 15 video game bosses you had to defeat within a time limit. Boss fights, right? You've heard it all about boss fights by now, but there are still some bosses left to make life difficult in all kinds of interesting ways. We're referring to timer-based bosses who must be beaten in a certain window, lest you either fail miserably or die horribly. Let's look at 15 bosses that must be beaten within a time limit. Chaos Aeronite, Hard Mode, Final Fantasy XIII. What's worse than a boss with a timer? How about one with an invisible timer? Chaos Aeronite is annoying enough on normal mode in Final Fantasy XIII, especially since you need to stagger it 4 times in the first 3 minutes. Not only can the boss hurt you plenty, but if you fail to stagger it within 3 minutes, it flies away and must be battled again, which is when all of its HP has regenerated. Did we mention that hard mode gives Chaos Aeronite approximately 57,750,000 HP? Liquid Snake, Metal Gear Solid. By the end of Metal Gear Solid, Meryl is under Liquid's capture, and the only way to save her is for Solid Snake to defeat his twin brother. What follows is a classic hand-to-hand combat on top of Metal Gear Rex as the timer starts counting down. Raid bosses, World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft and a number of other MMOs have the rage timer mechanic. If a raid boss isn't killed in a specific number of cycles, then it enrages, becoming much stronger. Some enrage states can be dispelled or trigger at certain points in battle. However, the hard enrages are the worst since they result in, say, the Lich King dealing 900% increased damage with 150% increased attack speed if you don't kill him within the first 15-minute mark. Atheon, Destiny. Being the quasi-MMO that it is, Destiny also featured bosses with enrage mechanics. The Vault of Glass Raid's end boss, Atheon, had a rather famous enrage mechanic wherein he'd become more aggressive, which seems fair. However, he would also spawn many more supplicants which could explode in proximity to players. It's thankfully not an insta-wipe mechanic like, say, Crota, where he summons the Oversoul to wipe the party. Maverick Zero, Mega Man X5. Zero is one of the toughest battles in Mega Man X5 if you take too long to beat him. This is because a secret timer is running in the background, and once you're past a certain point, Zero will use a powerful attack to effectively murder you. Dodging this attack is almost impossible, and it's spammed continuously. GLaDOS, Final Battle, Portal. When fighting GLaDOS in the final battle of Portal, she'll fill the room with poison gas. As such, you'll have a time limit and must solve the puzzle or die in the process. Interestingly, this is perhaps the only puzzle in the game that actually has a time limit. Given the urgency of the encounter, it makes sense. KRAUSER, Resident Evil 4. Almost every Resident Evil game has had a boss fight that functions on a timer, and Resident Evil 4 is no different. After the admittedly lame QTE fight with KRAUSER, you'll have 3 minutes to beat his mutated form before the explosives he's set go off. Don't worry, if you find the right corner, you can stun lock KRAUSER with the knife and ultimately kill him. The boss, Metal Gear Solid 3. Having to fight the boss is bad enough, especially given the history between her and Jack. The build up to the fight and emphasis on CQC fighting pretty much means it can only end one way. Do the deed in 10 minutes though, otherwise MiGs will bomb the area. Why? Of course because the boss called them in. Duh. TN1 Bane, Batman Arkham Origins. Probably one of the scarier fights in Batman Arkham Origins, which is saying something given the number of literal and actual Jokers in the game, is against Bane. After being enhanced with the TN1 serum, Bane becomes incredibly strong and can't be fought head to head. The other issue with this encounter is that you have 10 minutes to beat Bane, lest the TN1 serum makes him unstoppable. Elder Dragons, Monster Hunter. Every Monster Hunter game has a set time for each of its hunts, with roughly an hour to find and eliminate said monster. It can be a little arduous to find the monsters and deal with other monsters getting in the way, but an hour makes it doable. Elder Dragons, however, only give you half an hour to work with. The upside is that you don't have to find them. The downside is that they're the rarest monsters in the game and tough to bring down. Cortex, Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. Timed boss battles in Crash Bandicoot? Well, sort of. When battling Cortex in the final battle of Crash Bandicoot 2, there is a timer of sorts to follow. If you don't beat Cortex, he'll eventually escape, thus starting the fight over again. At least it's straightforward enough to understand, unlike when you mess up the high road for the millionth time. Dr. Robotnik, Sonic the Fighters. This isn't an outright difficult boss fight, but Sonic the Fighters does give you only 15 seconds to beat Dr. Robotnik. The only real difficulty here is if Robotnik blocks too much, thus hindering your ability to smack him down quickly. The fact that losing this fight just because of the timer running out, thus giving you the bad ending, is rather annoying. Shadow Okumura, Persona 5. The Persona series is known for its long boss fights, and Persona 5 is no exception. Of course, if this is your first Persona game, you'll be exposed to the art of "why did I instantly lose" that the series has made so famous. Case in point, Shadow Okumura, who must be beaten in 30 minutes. Caroline and Justine, the bonus bosses, are even worse. If you don't do a set amount of damage within a certain number of turns, they insta-kill you. If you don't win the battle in 50 turns, they insta-kill you. Supreme Hunter, Prototype. Alex Mercer has had a tough life, and that's epitomized in Prototype when he has to battle the Supreme Hunter just when the city is on the brink of being nuked. A timer will actually appear when you have 2 minutes left, which doesn't really help with the pressure, but using muscle mass throws and punches should swing things in your favor. LUXORD, Kingdom Hearts 2. This isn't exactly Dimix levels of annoying, but LUXORD can be pretty weird to fight against. Sora and the boss both have time bars. So far, so good. These time bars go down when either of you takes damage. Confused yet? Now throw in various gambling mechanics like Sora being turned into a dice at the beginning of the fight, and to think that LUXORD's main ability is time manipulation. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.